Back to the Jiggy Jaguar radio show on the network.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's call this guy. Scott St. Louis is his gimmick. Or is his name. He's been around these wrestlers too damn long. Dang it.
Hello.
Hello, sir. It is Jigman Freud giving you a call back on Skype audio so we can all hear you.
How are you, my friend?
Pretty good, actually. I'm going to find the infamous Jaybird Wells here in just a few seconds and bring her in on the old Skype, and we will see what's going on. We also have Blade in studio, and, you know, it would always help, since this is kind of a TV show, to actually turn the cameras back on. There we are. He's sitting over here in his mask, sweating his balls off, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to turn the cameras back on. Okay, so, wait. Hell of a deal today. I have way too much fun when Blade is here. I don't know why, but it's a hell of a deal. Jaybird Wells has joined us on the old Skype video, and apparently, what the hell is that in the background? All those baskets. What do you have? You have a yin yang symbol. Are those all your emotions and potions that Nagy always talks about that you have at your house?
Actually, that's yarn.
Oh, it's yarn. Okay, well, that's good. Because I guess apparently when you go to Jaybird Wells' house, it's like a science experiment. She's got all sorts of things there.
I can show you
She believes in alternative medicine, so alternative that the alternative medicine people are like, I'm just going to go to the doctor. This is just crazy. Okay, so, sir, give us a brief introduction on yourself, because we're going to have some questions for you here in a few moments.
Yeah, Scott St. Louis calling you from Southern California. Just had a fun, interesting weekend at the NAMM show, which is always very uncomfortable and very cool at the same time.
So, for the folks like Jay who don't know what the NAMM show is, explain this to her.
So this is like a National Association of Music Merchants, and basically they bring out all the big guns, and they have this huge convention center in Anaheim where they set it up, and anyone that's endorsed by anyone usually shows up to be able to try to pimp their products for them. And it's a real like who's who type of event. Kind of cool, you know, and also kind of intimidating. And if you don't like crowds like me, you know, I'm not a big fan of big crowds. It's a little uncomfortable, but most people that come in, they really enjoy it, you know. And there are some good aspects to it, so I always go to see the people that I have endorsements with and just say hi and check in and go from there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, so you don't like crowds. That's interesting, because you're a musician.
Yeah, I'm more interested in one-on-one communications. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I really want to take the time to get to know people that I'm in front of, and even from the standpoint of my music, that's kind of where the music comes from. It comes from, you know, being alone with your mind. And so if you don't want to know how I think, you just listen to my music. It is a pretty telltale sign. So I don't hate it, but I feel uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Yes, actually it does.
There's a time to be extrovert, and then there's a time to be introverted.
Yeah, where I just want to put my headphones on and watch 13 episodes of something on Netflix or whatever, you know, and just kind of disappear. So,
okay.
What is that?
It's right now. What did I watch recently? That was, the Bloodlines. Have you guys seen that one? It's like 3 different series about this family in Florida or off the Florida Keys.
Florida.
That's a pretty good one, actually. It's intense.
That's
kind of where I come from. So not Florida, but just intensity.
I know. Every once in a while, and I always have to explain this reference because we always have various folks that weren't around when he was here. But we had a guy who was on our show for a couple years. His name was Jared. And Jared used to always his dream was to move to Florida. And I don't know why, but he would always talk about how he was going to go to Florida. And every time we'd have like a guest on or something, and then we'd be like, yeah, Florida. He'd be like, Florida! So it's always just... And so it's like it's just got ingrained into my lexicon, and it just... I don't know. It's just the way it is. Now, Scott St. Louis with us today, which, by the way, that sounds like a professional wrestling gimmick. That sounds like a gimmick name. I'm sure that your real name's probably like Scott Ludabowski or something. It's not sellable. So you changed it to Scott St. Louis.
That's actually my real name. That's the funny part about it. And so I'm Scott St. Louis, but I live in California. So that usually confuses people because they're like, "Is this Scott? You're calling from St. Louis?" And I'm like, "No, I live in California." But the name came from King Louis IX. So it's a French descent, and he fought 3 holy wars for the Pope, so they sainted him. And then when my family came over here during the Napoleon era, when we were all ran out of France, the name came with it.
Well, you know what? You know what's funny is that I came over to Hutchinson after I got ran out of Salina. It's kind of an interesting deal.
Yeah, that's good.
And then of course I went to Salina after I got ran out of McPherson, but that's not as funny because it's like McPherson, who cares? But McPherson's got a champion though today. They do. But Scott St. Louis, we are going to play I Think You're Beautiful here in a few moments. Tell us a little bit about this.
So I wrote that song was written when I was in a past relationship with a person who had an eating disorder, and I never realized how lonely that can be for the individual. Where you're telling them that you think they're beautiful, and they don't believe you because they don't feel that way about themselves. And in that aspect, I was really touched to try to move through that. And
yes.
For me, the only way that I can process my emotions is by writing a song. It's the only way that I can say what I really want to say without, taking somebody's head off or being a victim or, anything along those lines. So it was my way of healing through that and trying to come out the other side.
That's awesome.
With some type of positive vibe.
Well, we're going to do this. Jay, I'm going to hang... actually, I don't know if I can play this and have you guys on. We'll see what happens here. We're going to do this. We're going to play this song, and we're going to keep you guys on the Skype. So whatever you guys say or do will go out over the air. So just sit there quietly, and we will play the song, and we'll be back here in just a few moments.
Beautiful.
This thing out on my own. How can you throw this all away? How can you throw this all away? Baby, 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 where you going to? You won't find love you no matter what you're going through. Whose only purpose is to make you completely whole. And I think you're beautiful, and I hope that you can get that through your head. So please, please don't misunderstand.
Wow. Holy smokes. There we go. Well. That was very interesting and very entertaining. We've got Jay Bird Wells back with us, and Scott is still with us on the telephone or on Skype audio. Okay, well, I guess we'll start with Jay. Did you get to hear the song through Skype at all? I don't know if it didn't. I don't know if it worked or not. No. Scott, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Jay has muted her mic on her Skype, so she's making all sorts of motions and movements and saying things, and I can't hear anything.
I don't know what to do.
But that was a heck of a tune. I think me and Blade were able to hear it here in studio.
What did you think?
What did you think, sir?
Honestly, these headphones aren't the best, Jiggy, so I didn't get to hear the words real well.
Yeah.
Okay.
The instrumental part sounded good, man. It had a good little vibe. But words itself, I really
yeah.
didn't hear.
We've had rappers in studio, so they've used and abused the headphones. But
that's Steve Ferroni on the group, man.
That's
Steve Ferroni, who's the drummer for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Well, see,
it
sounded like a Tom Petty type vibe, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, he's a huge influence on me. Like, he's great. I was actually at his last show out here at the Hollywood Bowl.
Wow.
And it was touching. I got to tell you, I've seen Tom and the Heartbreakers many times.
Yes.
And that show, this is even before he passed. There was really something special about it. It was just amazing.
That's cool.
And I can't explain it. It's just that feeling you get, which you got when you were 12 when you heard music for the first time. It was like that.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
We've got a great guest with us today. He joins us live, Scott St. Louis, which I love that name.
Thank you.
Jay Bird Wells on Skype. Scott, Jay, can you say something so we can hear you? Because I think you're still muted on your end. Yes, she's still miming because I can see the lips move, but I can't see anything coming out of there.
I'd love to see that.
And a heck of a deal. Blade, do you have any questions for Scott while we've got him, or are you?
Yeah, man. What other influences do you base your music and stuff on?
Yeah, musical influences are. There's a lot there.
There's a lot of them. You know, I mean, it's. I'm a type of person that listens to. I'll listen to an artist for like a year straight if they move me. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And then I'll find another artist to listen to for like a year straight if they. And I won't listen to anything else. It's just strange. It's an emotional thing for me. So I think that, you know, throughout time I've had moments where Dwight Yoakam moved me, you know?
Wow.
And then I've had times where Buck Owens moved me, and then Willie Nelson moved me, and then even John Mellencamp, and I just watched a thing on Led Zeppelin, a 3-hour thing on Access the other day, and now I'm listening to that first album again, pronounced Led Zeppelin, you know? And it's just really strange. Snow Patrol moves me. I mean, a lot of people would be like, wow, really? And I say, yeah, they do, because I toured Europe one time, and that song, Run, I couldn't stop listening to it as I traveled around the country. It was just so good, so moving, the tones were beautiful, and I just couldn't get over it. And then, you know, it's you've got Iron Maiden moves me, you know?
Iron Maiden moves
yeah, I
you.
know, right? So I just went to Las Vegas to see them with Ghost.
That's
Ghost
awesome.
moved me. I was fascinated by this band Ghost, who nobody seemed at that time to know who they were, and you know, just listening to their music. It was very melodic.
Yeah,
you know?
they're very entertaining as well. So that's pretty cool.
So it's a broad spectrum, is what I'm saying. It goes all the way across the boards, and it just depends on where I am. But you know, comes to a songwriting spectrum, though, I don't sit down and go, "Hey, I'm going to write a song that, you know, sounds like this." It's an emotion that I'm feeling at the time that you know, portrays itself across, in every recording I do, it's like I'm probably my harshest critic, and
Yes.
I really want the song to move me. I want it to feel the same way it did when I wrote it. And if I can do that, and if I can touch somebody else with that music,
Yeah.
like maybe somebody will say, "Hey, man, I've been through that. I felt that,"
That's cool.
and they can see you
That's
can
really
get through
cool.
the other side. So.
Well, Scott, I appreciate you making time for us today. We've got to run along. Jay Bird Wells is giving you a kiss on Skype.
Thank you.
So we are going to do that.
She's mine.
Michael Nagy has shown up, and we have some news,
Awesome.
sir, and we have a story for you. Jay sold her socks on eBay. We'll talk about that. But we're going to go, my friend. But thanks for joining us, Scott. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for having me, man. You guys have a great day.
Definitely. Thank you, brother. There goes Scott St. Louis. I apparently did not turn off the quintessential player in the background, so people got to hear Skylo for 5 seconds there. So we're going to get Jay back on Skype. I just don't even know what to say about the whole socks thing. That is just